Radhika on behalf of Educo welcome you all. Firstly, I want to thank you all and special thanks to speaker for your valuable time. Let's start this evening with a wonderful quote. Don't believe in giving excuses. The best way to do great work is to love the work what you do. Now I want to introduce Educo Hire. Educo Hire is a joint venture of mytrustedtutor.com and Educo Pro. Educators looking to hire teachers can post online teaching job vacancy for free, easily manage teacher recruitment portal. And I am pleased to introduce that we have came up with a new project, Educo Train. What Educo Train is? Educo Train is a training and development solution from the family of Educo Pro. Educo Pro is a leading education management services of and mytrustedtutor.com to cater to the needs of skill development and skill upliftment for teachers and educators in the new area of education. Educo Train will have dynamic faculties and trainers from different streams of life, from the world of education, from the world of corporate sectors, from the world of YouTubers, freelancers, entrepreneurs, from the world of scientists, and from the world of young achievers. Now I want to introduce our today's speaker, Indira Nair ma'am. She has been conducting training on behalf of Royal Society of Chemists for the past 6 years. She has conducted trainings on innovative teaching methodologies, pedagogy, soft skills, and life skills. She has conducted English, Science, and CCE workshop for their partner schools. She has 10 years of experience as a subject matter expert for chemistry for Pearson Education Service and developed multimedia content for K-12, ICSE, CBSE, and state board across India. As a training manager for Tutor Vista, she has conducted online training for the tutors tutoring students across the globe. She has developed and managed content for their life skills and leadership programs in schools. And now she is here as a speaker and she is going to give us a lot of knowledge on learning styles.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And first of all, I think all participants, all those who are coming here must be from the teaching profession. First of all, hats off to each and every one of you, because you have been doing a wonderful job for the past 1 year, has been really challenging. That was this one for you, tribute to all the teachers who have been working in this very difficult time. See, you have contributed amazingly in the situation. Actually, in fact, you have redid the curriculum so that you can teach it online through the thick and thin of the pandemic. See, what you teach depends on you are there physically present with the students, and still you modified everything and delivered. I think every one of you should give a pat for yourself for having done this wonderful job in this difficult time. See, learning style is a very age-old theory that we all practice, but there are lots of other things combined with it which we need to combine together to use it in our classrooms. We believe that students learn best when teaching styles are matched to their learning styles. Let's examine. Now, what do we mean by teaching? It'd be good if you can put your opinions in your chat. Teaching. But I won't be able to see the chat. Is it possible for you to read out what has come in the chat? Open your audios. Unmute yourself and please give your opinions. What do you mean by teaching?
It's a two-way conversation.
It's a two-way conversation. Okay. Anybody else?
Teaching can be defined as when we fulfill others' need, especially, and they can be used in the later life or later part of the life or application. They can use that application in their lives.
Yes. Anybody else?
preparing the students for their future life, morality.
Madam,
Yes.
good evening. Hello,
Yes.
madam.
You can open your video too if you want. It will be good to see you all.
Madam, teaching is learning twice.
Yes.
Ma'am, teaching, we can say it is a process of attending to others' needs, especially children, giving experiences, sharing experiences, taking the feelings, emotions, understanding. All this comes as a form of not just what is in the book or teaching the content. Beyond that, all these comes as a form of
There are
teaching.
lots of things beyond that. It is not just delivering content.
Madam,
It is a continuous
teaching
learning
is a
process.
value addition which helps to expand our horizons.
Yes.
Kind of value addition.
Good evening, ma'am. It is an interactive process between teacher and pupil.
That's nice. I think that when we will go to the next and we may. So I have just put it like that, a process of interacting. All what you have said, maybe I have been able to sum up a little bit, a process of interacting with learners and engaging them in activities that enable them to acquire knowledge and skill as well as worthwhile values and attitudes. What a wonderful job, no? Now see, what are the teaching styles? I have just put a small, this one is maybe like a cartoon. So every teacher has his or her own style of teaching, okay? Now see, you would have seen this kind of teachers in your school who is the fountainhead of knowledge. Answers.
Absolutely, ma'am.
And they have all correct solutions, and you go to them with any problems, they will have a solution for that. They have this kind of the motivators who are able to coax students, who are able to work with promoting, coaxing, and convincing them. Then we do have control disciplinarians, which is very much necessary, who dictates, who gives notes, who's authoritarian. In their class, the students will be very quiet and they will always do the work what they give. If you are lenient, they may not do all the work. Okay. The Enquirer, who asks questions, allows many answers, explores, does a lot of projects. So you can decide which one are you. Now see, what is intelligence? Now see, when we are in the teaching kernel, we talk about the teaching style, the learning, the intelligence, so many things which comes. Psychologists define intelligence as the ability to learn, ability to recognize problem and solve. You want to add something more to it? You're welcome.
Presence of mind.
Ability to explore.
Yes. Now see, usually our intelligence were tested using IQ tests, but they did not accurately depict a person's abilities. So Howard Gardner proposed 8 different intelligence based on skills and abilities that are valued in different cultures. Okay, linguistic intelligence, we can call them word smart, logical and mathematical intelligence, number or reasoning smart, spatial intelligence, picture smart, bodily kinesthetic, body smart, musical intelligence, they may be music smart, interpersonal intelligence, people smart, intrapersonal intelligence, self smart, naturalistic intelligence, nature smart. Okay. See, one of the most remarkable features of the theory of multiple intelligence is how it provides 8 different potential pathways to learning. See, if a teacher is having difficulty in reaching a student in the more traditional linguistic or logical ways of instruction, the theory of multiple intelligence suggests several other ways in which the material might be presented to facilitate effective learning. Actually, whenever you're preparing a lesson, you can prepare a mind map with taking this 8 intelligences into consideration. You prepare a mind map based on the lesson that you are doing, assign activities based on that, and then your lesson is going to be a totally interesting one, and you would be able to get the learners motivated and interested to learn what you are doing. In many schools, teachers prior to the lesson, they create a mind map based on the 8 intelligences and use that as a base for their lessons. The ability to manipulate images, graphics, anything that would include more than 2 dimensions. They have visual and spatial intelligence is predominant in them. They may be daydreamers or like to draw in their spare time, or also show interest in doing puzzles and mazes. Usually when we have any charts or this to be prepared in the class, they come forward and they do it for you. Then when you have to make some posters for the events, they're always in the forefront. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. That is predominant in the sports persons. And see, we have such kids in the class, the children in the class too. During the sports week and sports activities, they're always in the forefront. Musical intelligence. We do have this kind of children who are very much interested in music, who take part in choirs, who sing well, and they are a beautiful asset to anybody. Linguistic intelligence. See, language intelligence. They are great orators, they speak well, they include sensitivity to the meaning of words, the order among words. Now see, suppose we have some word searches, this one, crosswords, puzzles to do, word puzzles and all. They're very good at it. They think of the sound, the rhythm, and the inflections and meter of words. So, whether you have noticed this one, the spell bee contest conducted in US, yes, they really find the meter of the word, the rhythm, they are so keen to find the history of the word, even how the word was formed. Logical and mathematical intelligence, ability to analyze problems logically, carry out mathematical operations, and investigate issues scientifically. They would like to go in detail. Okay, I'm just brushing over it because this is not the point that I want to drive. Interpersonal. The ability to interact effectively with others, sensitivity to other people's moods, feelings, temperaments, and motivations. Essentially, it's being able to understand and relate to those around you. See, we see such kind of children who are very good with group work. They make a lot of friends and they're able to get along with everybody. Intrapersonal intelligence. What happened, people like that? Sensitivity to one's own feelings. They're private people, but they have the capacity to plan and act in one's own traits. But this intelligence is a goal for every individual in this complex modern society, because we have to make, each and every one have to make consequential decisions for ourselves, isn't it? So this is something which everybody has. Naturalistic intelligence is a lover of nature, who always would like to understand the nuances in nature, plants and animals and other elements of nature and life. They love to keep pets. They're good gardeners. Let's see, what are the learning styles? Learning styles are the different ways in which people perceive, relate, and respond to information. The most commonly known styles of learning are kinesthetic, visual, and auditory. See, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, but reading and writing is included as a part of it. How do they function? visual learners. They rely mostly on sight. They like to see things, write it down, often use pictures, maps, graphs, charts, and other visual learning tools. The 83% of human learning is visual. Actually, one thing, our brain always wants to see things and then perceive and then go beyond after that. So anything that we do, there has to be a vision, a visual for it. Brain likes it. Brain actually starts from there, from the visuals. Auditory learners are those who generally learn best by listening. They are very good attenders. They attend very attentively attend our classes, attend our sessions. You must be having those kind of students in your classes. Kinesthetic learners are those who learn best through touching, feeling, and experiencing. That multiple intelligence and learning styles. Are multiple intelligence and learning styles simply two different names and two different enumerations of the same thing? Are they similar or are they distinct? What do you think? What do you think? Can you give me your opinion?
Two different things. These two are different, madam. Multiple.
They're different?
Yes, ma'am. It's my opinion I'm giving it. I
Yeah,
think
okay, fine. That's fine.
These two are different.
Yeah, different way. Intelligence may be getting knowledge, same thing, but maybe the way is different.
The way they do it, this is different. Okay.
Intelligence, ma'am, is something better. So accordingly, a teacher structures the learning styles, a pattern, so that the child
is it intelligence something which is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, something which is you're born with? Do you think it is that everybody is born with some particular kind of intelligence?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Narsha. Everybody is not same. Different people have different way of learning. Different people have different way of learning.
That's true.
Intelligence is inbuilt, but the style is created by the teacher to enable the learning in the child.
Exactly.
Okay. See, what happened? Educationists examined the similarities and difference between these two concepts, and it was proposed that while distinct, they are not competing concepts, and they work together to contribute to learning. Multiple intelligence deals mostly with the content of learning in distinct fields of knowledge, and learning style deal with the process of learning, perceiving and processing information. These are all integral part of learning.
It's okay, ma'am. You can carry on.
How does learning happen in our classroom? How is it that whatever students learn in the classroom is stored?
Through the different
Most of what we learn is stored in terms of meaning. How do they learn? Or you explain something, what do they get out of it? How do students? The best way to learn or teach something depends on the content itself. Many things can be termed using multiple senses. Multisensory approaches work well because of the way our brain is organized. By using more than one sense, we bombard our brain with new information in multiple ways. Now see, this is how the educationists have defined student learning styles. Student learning styles are spatial, it could be bodily kinesthetic, it could be musical, it could be linguistic, logical, mathematical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic. This is the modern theory of student learning styles. So whenever you're planning a lesson, you should have all this in mind. Learning style is not just a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. See, all this can be included in to get the learning styles. Now see, whenever, suppose, see, nowadays you hear, when you're teaching chemistry, there is a lot of songs regarding, related to periodic table, related to elements. So many things are there, which actually we had a teacher from Shimoga, actually, She was one of our trainees for our program. And what she did, she created songs based on the metals. The students rendered it, and she said all the 20 elements, first 20 elements which they had to learn, the students could absorb it so well, and they got so interested, and they made their own songs out of other things for actually acids, bases, and salts. So the teacher introduced the musical aspect of a learning style. Students took on from there. See, naturalistic, when you are teaching, the learning style could be, how would we make it naturalistic? Maybe giving a lot of information, or maybe connecting them to the nature. Connecting them to the actual things, what is happening in nature. See, when we do group work, interpersonal skills are become magnified. Interpersonal skills, you would know during when students do group work too, sometimes you find, some of the students cannot join the group, they don't fit with them, they find it difficult. Maybe he's an intrapersonal skill, his learning style is that he prefers to do things on his own, he's not able to work in a group. Now, whenever you have a group work and you ask them to produce a poster, definitely the spatial learner or the visual learner would give beautiful picture. He would be the person who would like to do the drawing, because it's got a visualization. That is his style. So it's very, very important. Student learning styles are not just the three. It includes all this. Spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, linguistic, logical, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. So all these activities can be included in your class, in your lessons, to make learning more meaningful to them. How does learning happen in our classrooms? What is taught in classroom is conceptual and meaning-based. In order to retain information, we have to organize in a way that is meaningful and make connection to what they have learned before. It's very, very important. And connect learning to everyday life. Now, particularly when you are teaching about your, in science, we talk about microbes, microorganisms. We have a live thing to give about, we have a practical example of corona to give it to them. It'll make so much sense to them. They'll understand it much more, because what we have gone through, what's been our personal experiences. So keep this in mind, make connections to what they have learned before and what is happening around them. It's just a cartoon. Okay, the dog was taught to whistle, but it's not learning. I said I taught him, but I didn't say that he learned it. So we cannot leave teaching to just teaching. We have to see to it that it is learned. See, thinking is the pinnacle of accumulation of knowledge and experience. How can we start developing our learners' thinking skill rather than teaching to the test? What strategies will bring out the thinkers inside all our learners? Isn't it? Now you see, other than Shakuntala Devi and Srinivasa Ramanujam, do we have any other mathematicians who has come to the level? Do we have a single Nobel Prize winner in our country? What is the reason for that? Where does all our learning, what is lacking in their learning? Why are they not absorbing what is being taught? Why is it not going beyond that? Why the learning process is only superficial? It's not going deep. What's the reason? What could be the reason why it's going superficial?
Maybe because we only focus on teaching. We are not worried whether it is learned by the student or not.
Learning. There is some missing link, isn't it, between the teaching and the learning? What could be that missing link? Any idea, do you think?
The warmth between the teacher and the learners.
Is it that?
It's the rapport, the connection between the teacher and learner. You need to get down to the level of the child to teach them. At times we just go by what we know, but we have to go by the level of the child as well.
Yeah. There is another one
I feel
important
that.
aspect. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. I
No,
feel
no,
that
please go.
most of the learning is focused towards breadwinning or making a life out of it, but not towards accomplishing anything to make something out of it or innovate something out of it. So that could be the missing link.
It could be the missing link, isn't it? Now, what is the key to learning? Where does all the learning happen? Where does all our thoughts, everything? Where does it rise?
Mind.
Is it the mind or the brain?
Brain.
Brain.
It's the brain. It's that small organ. It's so wired, the neurons, the thing. Are we giving them enough to tickle their brain?
No, ma'am. No.
So what should be that we should be targeting on? Whether it's learning, whether it's intelligence, where should we start?
And I guess spoon feeding should be stopped.
We should make a real life connection. Like whatever we are teaching our kids, there should be a real life connection with whatever the concept we are teaching them.
See, they need to feel, they need to
develop critical thinking.
Critical thinking. They need to feel about things. They need to think about things. They cannot be insensitive to the things of the outside world.
We always overlook the cognitive skills.
Yes, that's very much necessary. Actually, that has to start from the very beginning. From kindergarten onwards, you should focus on the cognitive skills. You need to give importance to this part of the brain. Give enough tickling so that they use both sides of the brain. And that can be really done.
By storytelling.
Yes. Because see, it really motivates them. Have you seen the way, even I love listening to stories. I don't miss any story from anybody for that matter. By understanding how the brain works, we are better equipped to help students with everything from focusing attention to increasing retention. It's very much necessary. First and foremost, create a safe climate for learning. Build a secure, supportive classroom environment that is essential for young brains to learn. Happy learners are healthy learners. A safe classroom where they don't feel threatened, where they feel that Okay, I'm very comfortable. There is a good amount of neurological evidence to promote the idea that if students do not feel comfortable in the classroom setting, they will not learn. So how do you make them feel that? To enable learning, a safe classroom is a must. Only then learning will happen. There are certain parts of the brain responsible for emotions. The amygdala, that small part, processes the emotions, stores memory of emotional reaction, and reacts aggressively to stress that it will prevent information from reaching the centers of the brain necessary for absorbing new knowledge. Now see, suppose sometimes when you are in the class, you are reading something and you find that some of the students are not paying attention, okay? And you tell them to read, okay, somebody has stopped reading and you please continue reading from the other side. The child may not have been paying any attention. And what happens? What happens in the class? What is the reaction of the students? Even the teacher reacts. I know, I saw you were sleeping or you were talking. Look at a better way. This is a better way that we can get that child back. What happens? When that happens, okay, anyway, I've been sitting and listening. No. And what he says, he just shuts himself off. And everybody laughs. The child feels very much insulted. Is there a better way to do it? How do we get the attention of the individual students? Many a times you may ask questions and someone may not answer the questions that is asked. I know you will not answer. Because you are always like that. You don't answer any questions. What happens to the child? Positive reinforcements are a must. Only then a child feels safe in a classroom. I know a lot of stress and things that feelings like embarrassment, boredom, frustration can spur the brain to enter the proverbial fight or flight mode. That small part, the amygdala.
Very nice.
See.
Multiple learning,
Goes into overdrive and gets in the way of the parts of the brain that stores memories. See, once this embarrassment, you're embarrassed in front of the class, or you're not interested in what's being done, or you're frustrated that you're not able to do something, what happens? The brain just shuts itself off. Reducing stress and establishing a positive emotional climate in the classroom is arguably the most essential component of teaching and learning. It's very, very important. We have to reduce the stress. See, it should be something that they're enjoying, particularly as they come to higher classes. It's a total stress, isn't it? I know the teachers are also stressed because so much to complete. Is it because we have so much of content to deliver? Make the classroom stress-free. Lighten the mood by making jokes and spurring curiosity. Create a welcoming and consistent environment through daily rituals, songs, or games. Give students frequent opportunity to ask questions and engage in discussions without judgment. See, we cannot be judgmental. That's been one of our major drawbacks. And determine achievable challenges for each learner. See, a teacher who cracks jokes or tells anecdotes and stories are always very popular with students. Encourage participation, not perfection. It's not necessary. Everyone need not be perfect. In a class, maybe there are 4 or 5 perfect students in the class. But that doesn't constitute the majority. It's only a minority. So you need to encourage participation. See, that is one thing even in online classes. I know it's not possible for you to each and every student, but what happened? You can put it like a roster system. Maybe 4 or 5 students are given an opportunity. So the next day you call somebody else. Don't let the same people come again and again. Because the others feel left out, because already in an online environment they are left out. They don't feel that closeness. Because that remoteness, that remote feeling is there with them. So how do you bring them closer? And see, mistakes are, nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Encourage mistakes. Don't laugh at them. Don't make fun of them when they make mistakes. Only then there is a positive learning environment in the classroom. Both neurologically and socially speaking too. You feel so insulted when you are laughed at in front of the whole class. Practice active listening. Sometimes the teacher also need to listen what the student has to say. Give them time to voice their opinions, to voice their ideas. And even they too. Make them practice listening, because something which is very much lacking. They don't tend to listen. So those things have to be taught from the very beginning. From kindergarten classes, that listening practice is very much necessary. Actually, that is, as Indians, generally we have this idea of talking out of turn. We never wait for our turn to speak. Actually, I have a niece who's teaching, and she's a kindergarten teacher in Canada. So she says the first lessons that we do is speak when you are asked to, or wait for your turn to speak to. And they have all nationalities in their school. So she says generally Asian students are very difficult to control like that. They always have to say before their turn. If something comes to their mind, they have to say it immediately. So maybe our genetic nature, it could be that. So we need to try to get them to do that. Wait for your turn to talk and give chance for everybody to voice their opinion. Focus on what students are trying to say, listening to students in general, and listening to their intentions in particular can relax anxious brains. They're always anxious in a class, particularly if you are trying to teach something very serious and they are not able to understand. It's anxiety. It is uncertainty that's going through their mind. So, very much necessary that we need to calm these things down and make our classroom safe. Now see, we can resort to, there are a lot of game-based learning. Children of all ages love games. Games boost student confidence, teaches them critical thinking and problem-solving skills. You can engage them behaviorally, emotionally, and cognitively through games. For every age level, there are plenty of games that can be done. Now see, we are all familiar with the bingo actually, or the housey that we play. We can use it for teaching all subjects. Now suppose you have, we are teaching metals or maybe meanings of words. What do? You give them a set of words and their meanings. And then tell them, you create a bingo, tell them to draw a square on there, this one. I can share a bingo this with you. I'll show it to you. See, you can use Monopoly while teaching math. Maybe a Monopoly session in the class. Okay, now you're doing banking. or you're doing profit and loss. One session, this one can be devoted time to play Monopoly in the class, maybe like a group game. That will create a lot of interest in the subject that you are teaching. Scrabble while teaching English are very good tools that you can use. Skilled chess players, chess is a very good game that can be used because, they both use both left and right brain when playing. So one session. See, we don't say that 9th and 10th standard, you leave them. Up to 8th standard, there are plenty of time. One period you can devote to this, or whatever, based on the subject. Maybe once a week or once for one lesson, one period you can devote for this. Now see, modern methods of teaching require different types of teachers. Analyst, organizer, to negotiator, to consultant. You have to play multifarious roles. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, this is actually, we call it as, we usually make up card sorts. Okay, for any topic that you are teaching, you can use it for many things. Okay, we create these cards, we print out these and laminate these cards. See, this is, and students are given this to sort it. Card sorts. Can do it on any topic. So very, very simple things. And if you have students who are very good in drawing, you can ask them to draw it themselves. It is actually put as a column. You give some description regarding that and you have a picture related to the topic that you are doing. It can even be done as a group activity. After you teach, you complete a lesson, ask them to do this. The learning becomes much more meaningful to them. They feel more connected. Now see, these are some of the words in chemical reactions. The words are given and the students are asked to draw 9 squares on their books. Okay, you give them the words, let them write it, and then you give the description. Let them choose any 9 words or 12 words, whatever it is from there, and choose the words and they can put it in a column, and then you can read out the descriptions and do a bingo in the class. You can even have some small gifts for them. That's really motivating. Lot of small, simple games like this for you to do it in the class, which are not difficult. At the end of the lesson, you're not doing anything. Just put out the words on your board and tell them to draw the column and choose any 9 words or 12 words from the whatever you have listed there. And then give out the descriptions randomly. Word searches based on the topic that you are doing are something which can be done. See, this we have done based on chemistry lessons. These word searches were prepared based on the lessons that we are doing. Okay. Now see, these are the types of chemical reactions. You put it in such a way, use illustrations. Illustrations are another beautiful way of showing, okay? This is decomposition. This hydrogen combines with oxygen forming water. It's a displacement reaction. It will appeal to the students when we do things like this. See, there is another game called, actually we can even do concept maps. Okay, suppose you're doing concept maps, okay? How do you give? Put the words, random words, and tell them whatever you see, it's based on acids, bases, and salts. and then the students are asked to connect. So I think it's almost time is up. 1 hour is the time. So I think we have come to the end of this one. So game-based learning really tickles the brain.